Jonathan Kuminga's contract standoff with the Golden State Warriors isn't just about money. So while the headlines scream about millions and options, the deeper story is a psychological one. It's about identity, trust, and cohesion. This standoff isn't just a contract negotiation, it's about belonging and belief. Kuminga is no longer content being a role player. He wants recognition, not just financially but symbolically, as a cornerstone of the team's future. When roles feel unclear or undervalued, it creates insecurity, and that can eat away at confidence, buy-in, and performance. By pushing for the player option, I believe Kuminga is seeking control. And athletes do thrive when they have agency over their own career. It fuels motivation and reduces that powerless, stuck feeling. Without it, he risks disengagement or even subtle resistance, so the player option could be a good thing. When Kuminga deleted his social media, it may have been more than just noise reduction. My take is he's not receiving the signals of belonging from the organization. And it could be a response to feeling outside of the circle of trust and the belief in him. Alright, now let's flip it on its head. What about the organization's perspective? System versus the individual. The Warriors have always been built around a system. Steph, Draymond, Clay at the core. In the beginning, Barnes, Iguodala, Durant, Wiggins, not just one player. From management's view, giving Kuminga too much control too soon could tip the balance. A player option means the individual holds leverage over the system. So, the Warriors are balancing risk. If they overcommit and Kuminga doesn't fully deliver, it can ripple through the locker room, like it did with Jordan Poole. Role tension builds when one player gets rewarded before truly proving themselves as a champion. So, from the organizational standpoint, safety doesn't mean comfort. Sports psychology reminds us that real safety means honesty with guardrails. By holding firm on the team option, the Warriors are saying, we believe in you, but accountability still matters. So for the organization, it's about protecting the culture and ensuring the whole system stays bigger than any one piece. Alright, now let's look at it from the coach's perspective. Clarity and consistency is important. Heading into camp, Steve Kerr needs Kuminga to fully buy into a defined role, and by not signing it signals hesitation, almost like he's not fully accepting that role. If Kerr is unsure where Kuminga stands, both his trust and his confidence in Kuminga can waver, just as we've seen at times in the past. So buy-in and cultural alignment is important. In Legacy, it talks about following the spearhead, where everyone is pulling in the same direction. If Kuminga is distracted by negotiations, his buy-in to the team game plan and the team culture can weaken. Even subtle cracks in alignment can fracture that spearhead. For any player to grow, they need to feel free to make mistakes without fear of punishment. Kuminga has at times been punished for his defensive effort, offensive confusion, or his rebounding lapses. That kind of role ambiguity, mixed with the contract tension, can make him more risk adverse and self-protective, and that kills flow, creativity, and the confidence on the floor. For coaches, it's about creating the conditions where Kuminga and the team can play loose, free, and fearless. Finally, let's talk about the player's perspective, the locker room. Veteran leaders like Steph and Draymond value one thing above all, role clarity. If they see Kuminga push for leverage as putting self over team, it could create friction. But if they see management minimizing him, they might quietly support him instead. Respect in the locker room often comes down to whether effort and reward feel balanced. One of the most important pieces here is psychological safety and brotherhood. Belonging cues, things as simple as eye contact, encouragement, or showing support, are what remind players that they're part of the circle. If Kuminga starts to feel isolated during these negotiations, it's up to his team to keep reinforcing those signals to let him know, you're still one of us. That's critical because the Warriors' culture has always been built on trust and connection. If Kuminga feels that bond slipping, the risk is he disengages. But if the team makes it clear he belongs, even in the middle of the contract drama, Brandon Pajemski did this, it can keep the locker room unified and the mission intact. Humility and service are core to sustaining team's culture. Veteran players may want Kuminga to prove he can still stay grounded and do the little things. Kuminga, meanwhile, is eager to show he's ready to carry the jersey into the future. That kind of generational tension is natural, but it only works if it's met with honest, intentional dialogue in the locker room. So for players, this isn't just about a contract either. It's about respect, belonging, and passing the jersey on to the next generation. So what's my takeaway here? I believe Kuminga's growth arc isn't just financial, and that it's psychological. He's moving from a developing role player and wants to become a core leader. For management, the priority is systemic stability. For coaches, it's role clarity, and for teammates, it's cultural cohesion. And at the center of it all is one question: psychological safety. Do we feel safe around each other? Will Kuminga feel safe, valued, and trusted enough in Golden State to give his 100% buy-in and effort? Or will leaving be the only way for him to find autonomy and build his legacy? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out.